So this is a little too big to get into the full shot, and it's definitely been a while. This has been sitting for a long time. It's sealed with clear matte, so I shouldn't have to worry about pulling up the paint at all. I do have Lou Del Maso's Aztec Dummies awesome vinyl cuts for this, and I want to give that away at the end of this build. That circle is going to be really difficult to do, so what I've done here is to make my own vinyl masks of sorts. This is regular contact paper. The outer color certainly doesn't matter. There comes in lots of different patterns. And these two circles I cut here are pretty much the exact precise size they need to be. And looking at the show, I'm really thinking that the model company just put this groove in here to show you where you needed to paint or mask off at. That they didn't include a template in the instructions kind of sucks, because circles are definitely not the easiest thing to do whatsoever. That's why if you don't want to do this yourself, cutting a circle, then through PGMS, the photo etch set, or the painting mask and decal set, one of those sets, I don't remember offhand right now, has the vinyl masks that will save you some serious difficulty. Contact paper is pretty good overall. I've used it for masking a lot of things, and I'm definitely a fan. Haha, perfect. I could not have cut this better, that is for darn sure. So I'm just going to run my nail around the edge here and dust off the rest of the floor. And at that point, that means I'm ready to airbrush the second color on this after all these years. Literally. Years. And just want to do the outside rim. The whole model is essentially waiting for this piece to be done right now. So I'm very happy to finally be here. I believe what we're using is 2006 raw umber, or I forget the alternative color, but let me just confirm that 2006 is the one I want, which is 2006 burnt umber or dark brown, Tester's enamel bottle 1140, which would be this color here. I'm a fan of burnt umber myself. Now, this says raw umber. It's definitely bottle 2006, and the instructions definitely say burnt umber, not raw umber. So did they get the number wrong, or did they get the color wrong? Tester's acrylic 4605 is the equivalent they list. So now I don't know if this is the correct color or not, but we're going to go with it anyway. Let's at least mix it up and see how it looks. One modification that I recently made to my paint stirrer here, thanks to Mr. Chief 101 for thinking of this. I hot wired it, so now I only need one AA battery, not two. And what that means is it spins half the speed, essentially. It's a little off balance, much lighter now as well. It doesn't dig through the bottom quite as well as it used to before, but as you can see, it's not kicking up the paint out of the jar either, and that's more important. You know what, it might be a little too weak overall. Of course, the whole idea behind using a paint mixer is that you don't have to deal with big mess on a stick. I just don't know about this color. It's really green. Let's take a look at the 1140 for kicks. And definitely not a fan of this 1140. I want to take a look at something else. I thought I had both of these colors in oil paints. This is burnt umber. Definitely different colors, obviously. I expected they would be. So that leads me to believe that when the company wrote out the paint directions here, didn't quite proof it well enough. Rather than raw umber, it is really burnt umber, but they got the number wrong. Do not use 2006. When I find out what the number is, I'll let you know. But yeah, this is much browner, this is much greener and grayer. If I had any thinner for this oil paint, I'd use that and put it through my airbrush. I don't know how good oils go through airbrushes, but we'll go with enamels since we're working with enamels. And that means I gotta take a trip to the hobby shop. This floor just does not want to be done. So let me catch up with you in a little while. So at this point, I have every reason to believe that the floor simply does not want to be painted. However, I got something close. I went to the hobby store. They didn't have burnt umber. However, they did have this, which is Tester's 1183 rubber. Very close. So on the right or the left, depending on which way you're looking at it here, this color over here is the raw umber 2006. This is burnt umber oil paint, and then over here is the 1183 rubber. This is very green compared to the proper color. This is awful close. This is a little richer and thicker and denser, but this color is darn close. I think it's a little redder than this, or this is a little yellower than that. But either way, we're gonna go with Tester's 1183 rubber. And here we are. I did a few passes in different directions to basically cross-hatch the paint. Like 3 directions maybe, I think, so it's got pretty good coverage. I wound up going through the entire bottle, which really surprised me. I gotta clean out the airbrush now. The camera battery died and I couldn't really do anything about it until just a few minutes ago. So I'm gonna let this dry overnight. I'll definitely take that contact paper off before that though. I don't want that staying on too long. In fact, why don't I do that now as carefully as I can? This paintwork is only a few minutes old, so it's going to be wet for a little while. I'm trying to figure out how I can hold this without doing any damage. There we go. Nice, very freaking nice. I am so happy to be at this stage. The circle is just about perfect. I definitely couldn't have done that better. Maybe later tonight I'll wind up matte coating all of this just to protect that color. If not, I'll wait till tomorrow and I can finally start gluing some pieces to this gosh darn floor. See you in the next video. And here we are. One gloss coat over the entire thing that did something very strange to the brown. It's most evident up here. The whitish areas you're seeing here, that's actually in, get the reflection out of here. So those white areas are actually in the gloss layer. I don't know where they came from. I don't know why. I didn't go particularly heavy with it. Could be that the can of paint was old. It happened in a couple places, most notably over here. Then there's a little bit in the floor back here. Yeah, there it is. Now the fortunate thing about this is that almost everywhere it happened, it doesn't matter. It's like this area here, that's all behind a wall. This area here is going to be behind a wall. This back section is behind so much and next to this wall that it shouldn't be too noticeable. Over here at the flight deck, this is all behind the control console. There's a little bit here and there otherwise. But really almost what it looks like is the scuffing. If you watch the show, you'll see scuffing all over the place from walking on the set. This does almost look like it's spreading, but I can't imagine why. It wouldn't be too difficult to repaint this dark brown yet again and get myself some new matte or gloss sealer. I do like this gloss look to it. Getting the circle template to match the middle would definitely not be the easiest thing to do. However, it could be done. And if it's done wrong, it will probably be obvious. So I'm going to let this cure for, it's already been on 12 hours I think. I'm going to let it cure for another 12. I don't want to move too fast on this at all, especially at this stage. Before I decide whether I'm going to repaint or not, I'm going to test fit a few pieces and see if I like them where they are. I just wish I knew why it would have fogged up like that. It was well shaken. It was room temperature. The brown paint had been dry for a full 24 hours. So what happened? Anyone with experience with this, please comment. Let me know. So in this case, we're going to get back to some other pieces. Let's go take a look at what we got.